Hey guys, it's Cthulthu here. So today is the 24th of August 2011. It is the day after the RuneScape update now, both to the Citadel and the normal weekly update. And yeah, so a little bit has changed, I guess you could say. Let's start with the Citadel first of all in the first half of the video. So if it isn't obvious already, the biggest change is our statue here. KBD statue, and it's made out of stone, and it's looking pretty good. I mean, you got to wonder to yourself, what a more advanced KBD statue will look like. Probably be the exact same look, but obviously how it works with precious ore and everything else that goes into making the upgraded version, that'll be interesting to see how it works. But yeah, our first statue is up, and we're going to be getting two more statues hopefully next week. One is halfway done, which is why we're expecting to be able to finish that one and also get a third one up. And I know the one that's half done is going to be Zeros, so chances of us getting that up by next week is almost 100%, and the chances of us getting a third one up, even though I don't know exactly what we'll be getting up, will be, well, hopefully, I'd say there's probably about an 89% chance that we'll be able to get it up by next week. So hopefully it will be on this pedestal there and this pedestal here, because I thought to myself, let's get the middle one done and then let's get the two outer ones done. So Zeros will appear on one of those, and I've yet to work out which one we're going to have as the third one. So that is the first change, and now there's only two more changes. As I mentioned last week, I believe I did anyway, we were going to get a fire making kiln and we were going to get a furnace, and well, here is the furnace. So this is where we're going to be making metal bars at some point. Right now it doesn't work at all because we don't have the ingredients to make metal bars. Basically we need charcoal, which has something to do with the fire making kiln, and then we also need metal ore, and metal ore is something that we can't currently get right now. We need a tier 3 mine that will then allow us to mine not just rock, but not just stone rather, but also metal ore. So yeah, once we have mine tier 3, which we will be getting next week, then we'll be able to finally go ahead and start using this furnace. But yeah, this is basically what you saw in the video where you saw them creating bars and everything. It was like kind of, actually, was that a logging plant or was that a furnace? I can't remember anymore. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this was in the special RuneScape video that they released before Citadels were actually released. And then here we are at the fire making kiln. This is pretty straightforward. You put wood chip into the machine, into the kiln. You have to do it on at least two sides, so either the north side or the south side, whatever you want to do. And yeah, as soon as you filled both sides up on either one, well, no, on both, then basically charcoal is made. Charcoal comes out of this little door here into the trap door below here, and then obviously it must get transported underground to the furnace, which is where it will get used once we can finally use it along with metal ore. So that's how you make charcoal. You get a bit of a fire making experience for it. I would love to demonstrate it using it, but unfortunately charcoal that we actually make, it gets lost completely. 100% it gets lost. So the last thing I want anyone doing is making charcoal right now, because there's no need for it, especially if we're going to lose it by next week. Obviously we'll get to it next week, but yeah, right now not the case. So also, as part of the update now, let's start talking about updates now. I'm actually going to go to Fishing Trawler and explain the updates. I'm going to go to Fishing Trawler because there's been a new piece of food, I guess you could say, that has been released, a new fish that has been released, and that is the tiger shark. So I definitely want to get myself a tiger shark. Apparently you need 95 fishing to get it, and you can only get it from the Trawler mini game, so that's why I'm going to go and head there. And also I'm heading there because there's no place to really go other than that. As you can see, one of the parts of the update was this Jad pet. So I've got one now, and I'm very happy to have one. It's got no use, but I do love having it by my side. I mean, it does look pretty nice, and yeah, I just like it. So so I will show you the chat. Actually, I don't know if I'll show you the chat. Let me think about it. What I'll probably do is link you to an RS wiki page that'll probably have the full dialogue on it, but otherwise it'll probably take too long to go through all the dialogue well, basically what the pet says to me. So but yeah, there's the Jed pet. That's what it looks like, and yeah, it is pretty nice. I do like it, especially on HD with all the scales and everything. It does look nice. Also, I haven't actually looked at it on the familiar page, so let me have a quick look. So there we go. There's the Jed pet. You don't have to feed it at all, and so therefore there is no pet hunger. So 0% NA. So yeah, you don't have to do anything to maintain this pet. You just have him, and that's it. he won't run away from you, which is a nice, obviously, thing that you have there, because the last thing you want to do is lose him at some point, especially when you've spent 100 zeal and a fire cape on it. So, yeah, I'm going to head to Trawler, and I'm going to talk about all the other updates, so I'll see you there. Okay, guys, here I am at Fishing Trawler. So, I'm going to talk about the update that happened yesterday, but I don't want to talk about it in too much depth, because basically, there's no point talking about it when I don't actually own these items myself. So, for example, all the hybrid gear and everything like that, don't actually own it, so I don't want to talk too much about it. Hopefully over the coming weeks I'll be able to get little bits and pieces of the armor, and then I'll be able to talk about it in more depth. But until then, let's just try and keep it simple. So as for the update, you know, as a whole, I'm saying that this is not one of the best updates that's ever been released. The hybrid armor is the only thing that I actually like about this update. Pretty much everything else is a big fail. Let's start about Fishing Trawler. So basically, changes made to Fishing Trawler is that you can now catch a fish called the tiger fish. It heals you for 250 HP, and it can go 100 HP over your maximum. So if your maximum is 990 HP, then you can heal yourself to 1090 HP. So honestly, with all the food that is already in the game, this isn't very special at all. And you know, there's plenty of food that is, you know, close to being equivalent to this food. So yeah, this food isn't really very special, and the worst thing about it is it's very, very rare. It seems that you'll only be able to get one in every 5 trawlers that you do, and yeah, for me this is my second trawler. I didn't get anything on my first trawler in regards to any of the new items. So yeah, it seems like a very rare item, definitely not worth getting, at least not worth, you know, thinking to yourself, right, let me get a few of these because it'll help me in a certain situation, because honestly there are better things to buy. And you know what, you're better off just buying Rocktails from the Grand Exchange or something like that than trying to get these tiger fishes. So that is already one down for Jagex. Bad update there. Also, there's something called shark teeth that you can get, and you can make a necklace out of. Sounds, you know, it sounds nice, doesn't it? I mean, you kind of think to yourself of those like shark tooth necklaces that you can buy in places like Australia and everywhere. You know, just as a nice tourist holiday item. And yeah, but in game, let's face it, it's not going to have any use. It doesn't seem to have any use at all anyway. Not that I know anyone that has it. So it seems like it's another fail update, a fail part of the update. I mean, I understand that it's going to be cosmetic, and you know that's the whole point of this. Well, most of this update is something to do with cosmetics, I guess. But yeah, let's face it. I mean, you can hardly recognise necklaces as they are already. So what difference is you know, a shark tooth necklace going to make? Hardly anyone's going to be able to notice it, especially when you got things like Arcane Stream necklace that already look like they may be necklaces, you know, made from shark's teeth. And yeah, so Trawler, big fail, but I'm still going to try and finish this game and see what I get. Let's see. So what else is there? There are the new Lunar spells. Absolutely useless. There is a Trollheim teleport spell. I guess that could be useful to an extent, basically for farmers. I'm just thinking about farmers, but I don't see it having any other positive effect. I mean, who really wants to go to God Wars with Lunar spells? There's no real reason to want to. So the only thing in Trollheim that you would want to teleport there for is the farming patch, and you know, that's the only thing that's going to be useful. In terms of the other spell, the Borrowed Power, level 99 magic requirement, you need 880,000 points, and it's the worst thing in the world. It's the worst spell, the most, you know, demanding requirement spell that there is, with absolutely no use whatsoever. Basically, the description sounds nice. Basically, it makes it sound like you can take any spell from any spell book and put it on your Lunar spell book. That is not the case. There are set spells that you can use. They are all wave spells. So, for example, Fire Wave and Earth Wave. They are Entangle, Enfeeble, and also Telekinetic Grab. So useless spells that you can now add to your Lunar spellbook. Absolutely pointless. I'm not going to waste too much of my breath on it, to be honest, because it is just a waste of time to talk about. But yeah, Jagex, I mean, seriously, my god, it's just ridiculous where they get these ideas from. I mean, you got to wonder which idiot managed to think up that idea. Hey, let's create a completely, you know, fantastic spell that sounds absolutely amazing, that everybody will love, everybody will want, and then let's restrict it to these certain spells that nobody actually uses. I mean, for God's sake, wave spells are not even the best normal spells. I mean, couldn't you have even have given us Surge? I mean, at least then I may have thought to myself, you know, if I'm on Lunars, at least I'll be able to still use Fire Surge when I go and kill Ice Strike Worms or something. But no, wave spells. It's just ridiculous. In terms of everything else then, so we've got runecrafting and we've got a thieving gear now. So I guess that's a nice addition to the game for most people. Obviously you do have to put a bit of effort into getting the armor. By the sounds of it, Pyramid Plunder armor will be something that everybody gets for thieving anyway, because Pyramid Plunder is probably how you're going to get your thieving experience in the first place. So just getting the armor slowly is just going to be a nice bonus whenever you do get it, because obviously it'll add 2.5% to your experience rate. So yeah, Pyramid Plunder armor, very, very useful, or rather it's called the Black Ibis outfit. And that actually sounds very, very nice. I mean, I bet it looks fantastic. Then there's the Master Runecrafter robes. Obviously, the best way to train runecrafting is to do ZMI, and the fact that this requires you to do Great Orb Project. Obviously, you know, you're doing a mini game that doesn't give you the best experience in the world, and yeah, you're doing it for the equipment. So basically, what I'm trying to say is, you know, you're having to do two different things. You're having to get the armor before you can actually make use of it. Whereas Pyramid Plunder, you're already getting the experience that you want, the best experience that you can get, and you're getting, you know, the clothes as a bonus, basically. So yeah, that is a bit of a shame. But you know what? If there are any runecrafters out there who like doing the minigame, who like using the minigame, but who get a bit tired actually of training it with ZMI, well, then I guess it is a benefit, because that's the way I like to think, look at things. I mean, I think to myself, you know, if I can, for example, if I enjoy doing Slayer, then I'm going to do Slayer rather than using effigies on Slayer, because then it doesn't make sense to use effigies on Slayer when it's on something that you actually enjoy doing. So yeah, if you can get the armor, which will, you know, at the end of the day reduce the time you spend runecrafting, while also then being able to enjoy the minigame, that's fantastic. So finally, hybrid armor. I don't know how rare hybrid armor is to get. I did play one Soul Wars game and I didn't get anything from it. And let's face it, maging at Soul Wars equals 100 plus kills quite easily. So I didn't get anything. So I mean, I have to assume it is quite rare. I have to wonder to myself if they do keep records of how many Soul Wars games we played. They didn't really keep a record of how many Castle Wars games we played. That was really all, you know, depending on how many tokens we had, as how that was worked out. Because basically you might have noticed that that if you had 200 tokens, then you were presumed to have played 200 games, basically. That's how it worked when the Castle Wars counter came out. So yeah, you have to wonder if they have previous records of how many Soul Wars games we played, but otherwise we may be starting at scratch, so it may have just registered my game as the first ever game of Soul Wars I've ever played, which would be completely untrue, obviously, unless they take into account the amount of zeal that I had at least when I started, before I actually bought the Jad, that is. At any rate, yeah, so I do want to get this armor. It looks fantastic. I understand that you can only use it in PvP instances, therefore it's not going to be useful outside Soul Wars or Castle Wars or anything like that, but I'd still like to have the armor, because the picture in the actual announcement looks fantastic. It looks like something I would definitely want myself, and just for, you know, aesthetics, yeah, just for aesthetics. And but no, its use seems to be fantastic in the game. So I do think I definitely want to get my hands on that armor. And you know, it's probably something that I won't go crazy trying to get, but it's something that I will get eventually. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks I'll have at least a few items in my possession, but we'll see how that goes. So that's obviously what I mean by, you know, wanting to make videos in the future about this update. You know, now's not the time to go too much in depth with them. But I do look forward to trying to get some of the armor and then being able to show it to you guys. So until then, guys, thanks for watching and see you around.